today we have with us Brad Miller from Grief Collector. Hi, Brad, how are you, first of all?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm pretty good, pretty good. Even if, this situation just stuck since a long time. So we have still to arrange with online stuff, interview, live gigs and live streaming. It's not a good period for music, but what can I say? We try to do the best for the music. I want to
Right.
start, of course, with the first questions. That is, of course, the most common one. Speak about Grief Collector. Who are Grief Collector? Who is in the band? Because I mean, I know who is in the band, but for the people that are looking at the interview for the first time, they'll speak
Yeah.
about introduce the band.
Well, Grief Collector is myself on the drums, and Matt Johnson plays guitar and bass on
Yeah.
all the stuff, and then of course, Robert Lowe from Solitude and Candlemass
Yeah,
that does all the vocals. So
the vocals. Yeah. So,
yeah.
and how the band started exactly? It was, I think it was your idea from the Grief Collector.
Yeah, it was just an idea that I had came up with after the band before I was in had broken up, and so it was just something that I wanted to do, and actually started off as a recording project.
Yeah.
So it was never really meant to be anything more than just putting something out for people to listen to. But once the songs were written, we thought they were really powerful and
Yeah.
pretty amazing. So we wanted to find somebody that could bring those songs to life and give them some type of meaning, and
Sure,
we
of course.
that's how we found Rob. And so ever since that, it just kind of turned into something more than the recording project, and so here we are now.
And you mentioned that you were in another band before, in another project. So which was the past of Brad before Grief Collector?
I was in a band called Among the Serpents before Grief Collector.
Yeah.
Actually, right at the end, I pretty much went from Among the Serpents, and not even a month or two, I started the idea for Grief Collector.
Yeah.
But Among the Serpents was a little bit more sludgy, kind of Corrosion of Conformity, kind of down, with some a little bit more metal stuff. But it was a great project.
Sure.
Happy to be a part of it. But yeah, so that was kind of my thing before Grief Collector started.
So, and the doom, like I said, the doom influences, you think was brought into the Grief Collector from Robert Lowe, since his huge, we can say, career in Candlemass, or was just something, an influences that was in the band before?
Well, the goal for writing for Grief Collector was to do a doom album, whether that was influenced by stuff Rob has done in the past or not. I've been a fan for almost 30 years of his and other doom metal music. So I don't think it was never written because of those things. It was just written for my love of that style of music.
Yeah. So basically, with Robert was like a meeting that he was like further, we can say, influences of doom with his vocals. And how was the meeting with Robert? How he came in touch with you and Grief Collector?
And I had said this prior in many other interviews and stuff like that. It was just one of those things that we were looking for somebody that we wanted to sing on the album. We had really no idea who that would be. And just one day I noticed that I was friends with Robert on Facebook, which I don't even know how that even happened. But so I saw him in my friends list, and I just messaged him on Facebook and asked him if he was interested in listening to what we had, and if he'd be interested in possibly singing on it. We only had 5 songs, so I didn't think it was really that. There was not a lot you'd have to do. And so, he listened to them, and after like a week or so, I messaged back and asked him what he thought, and he seemed to really like them. Seemed to be pretty excited about what we had, and he said he was
Okay.
on board to do the first album.
And that's amazing because the first releases of song, you said that, of course, before, not release, the first, we can say, composition, arrangement of the song was without Robert voice vocals. And what can you say about these first songs you recorded with Griff Collector?
Well, the first songs, we never wrote them with the intention of Robert singing, so there was
Yeah.
never any preconceived, notion of how they were going to sound, or we didn't write them catering to Robert's vocals because we didn't know at that time.
Yeah, and
the songs were
that's
just
why I asked it. Yes, because it was like something that you write without knowing he was actually into the band.
right. We just kind of just wrote things that really made sense for the concept of that album, which were the 5 stages of grief. So we just kind of wrote those to make sure that the emotions for those songs made sense with each stage that we were trying to accomplish. So that was really the goal there.
The goal to the 5 grief, the 5 stage of the grief, and that's why you chose the name Griff Collector, I think.
Yeah. Ultimately, I found the part of the name from a Candlemass song, Man of Shadows, and it said something about a collector of grief. So I just kind of just modified it a little bit and just
play with the words.
Grief Collector.
Yeah.
So it kind of all based around that idea. So
yeah. So let's speak about the song that you we can say released with Robert, because I listened to in these days of Misery and What, I think, and one of the few Winter Sick. What about these songs? Because I saw there are lyrics video of these songs on YouTube, and speak just about the composition of the song, the meanings of these songs.
Yeah. Well, of Misery and Woe is just really about those kind of things that you go through, as far as just feeling like there's no real light at the end of the tunnel during certain times in your life, or certain things that you're going through, that you feel that there is no way other than an ending that you would hope that would not be. So it's really the trying to find your way out of that dark spot, which is sometimes very difficult, but that is one of those things that I think all of us have felt at some time. So I thought it was very something everybody could kind of relate to within that song.
Yes, because sometimes people they don't see like we can say a light at the end of the tunnel, because maybe there is not, and that's the way it is. Some things, I understand perfectly the meaning of this song. And what about Winter Sick? Because was the last song you released like a month ago almost.
Yeah. Well, I live in Minnesota, which is it's pretty snowy, it's pretty cold.
Yes.
As we deal with negative 30-degree temperatures sometimes, and that just happened a few weeks ago. And growing up in this environment, it's it can get a little depressing, it's at times, and when it's something that you are in, and you're in that situation, it just sometimes you just feel like it's very claustrophobic, and it's very depressing, and that was my really take on that song. It just kind of the during those dark winter days, how one's spirit and their body can be very different than in any other type of season.
Yes, because of course people can be happy and desire the winter, the snow, the lights of Christmas. But in the end, people who live perhaps in the Scandinavian country, or who have, for example, winter most of the years, I don't think they are happy about Christmas. So it's like a sickness. So Winter Sick is really a good title. But of course now in May I don't remember the day. Just you can refresh my mind when they will be released, and Delirium, if I'm not wrong, right? And Delirium,
Yes.
the first album. So just let's speak about, of course, I don't think you can say too much, but what can you say about these albums?
Well, initially it was supposed to be May 14th.
Okay.
We did get some news from the record label that
Yeah.
it will be pushed back to June 11th.
Okay.
Because of some of the vinyl.
Yes, because you release in vinyl as well. If I saw on Facebook. Yeah.
Right. So the vinyl factories over there are having some troubles with getting stuff out, which, you know, it happens in the industry. So, you know, you just kind of take it as it goes. But I believe June 11th is the official date as of right now. So yeah, the new album will be out on June 11th on Petrichor Records out of the Netherlands. And then you can also get it on napalmrecords.com too. But yeah, so we're releasing 3 different colored vinyls.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so there's going to be a black, there'll be a smoky gray, and then a black.
Gray.
Yeah, and a
smoky
black
gray.
and red.
Smoky gray is like, for me, it's like a doom. Sounds more doom, like doom vinyl, the smoky gray. So I think people will buy more the smoky gray because in fact, I think it will be sold out at first, and you have to do it again.
Right. We're hoping they buy some of all of them. Well, you know, they want one of each just because they're all.
Yes. And the theme, the topic of all the album the songs that you release, of course, will be into the album. Wintersick and the other one will be into the album.
Yeah. So on the album, the vinyl, there'll be, I think, like, man, I should know this, like 8 or 9 songs, I believe. And then there will be 2 extra songs on the CD that aren't on the vinyl, but the CD is also a 2 CD. It's a deluxe CD, so it actually has the first album on there as well.
Yeah.
So people will be getting both of our albums, the first one from Dissension to Evolve and Delirium.
So and of course this album will be your first album, but have you ever thought, of course now with COVID and maybe distance is not so easy, but you thought to record some video clips, of course?
Yeah, we've kind of talked about doing an official music video that is in the talks actually, but there's, you know, we're not really sure how to go about doing that with, you know, Robert living in Texas and
there are too many,
and then COVID. So, but there are talks about it that we would like to have, you know, a video for this album because for us it is a big release.
Yeah, of course, because people will see at the end. Because I think in any case will arrive a video clip if it was. Yeah, and of course, I hope and I wish that once the album will be released, there will be also tour dates, because you have to. And what about that? Did you speak with someone for some gigs live, not even in your house, or just everything stuck right now?
Well, you know, everything's pretty much dead in the water as we speak. You know, we were supposed to have our first show last year, and COVID hit. Like literally right as we were getting that show done and ready to play out. So we don't really have anything, you know, specific in the works.
Yeah.
You know, we're hoping 2022 we get something going on. But until then, you know, we're gonna stay active and, you know, and try to do things like that. So
yes, this period is not easy for any bands and any musician completely. I saw a lot of festivals. They were postponed for 2021, again postponed for 2022, all the time with a question mark, because it's not. I think that even the organization are really struggling right now because they have all these bands. This is really tough, and also for the band with all the gigs in a tour, they have it's a really tough period, but. I think when we will have the freedom again to go to see a gigs, there will be like, I don't know, like a war of people coming to any gigs. Even
Yep.
if I listen to, I don't know, black metal, I just go to see thrash metal, and I think that the genre will be mixed. There will be like a
Yeah.
mass, like a world music war, the first world war music.
Right, right, right.
Something like that. Yes.
We're hoping that people
Yeah.
will be so excited to get back in the concerts that every
Yeah.
show will be packed. Every show will be
Full.
exciting to them, and they will
Yeah.
be
And I think
excited about music again.
yeah, and I think it will be because last summer there I remember was in streaming some of the European metal festival did the European Metal Alliance or something like that. So
Yeah.
many bands pre-recorded the show and they were transmitted in streaming. It was cool seeing this, of course, the gigs, but it wasn't the same of going in some festival. And it was some, I think, sad for the band playing without no public, no stage diving, nothing, even for the extreme band. And of course,
Right.
for the bands, seeing the band, the fans seeing the bands like this, oh, that's fine. I can do nothing. Yeah, but of course, anyone right now is trying to do what they can. The
Absolutely.
band with we can making new videos or lyrics videos, producing music, making as we're doing now interviews. Because of
Right.
course, if it would be a festival, it would be an interview sitting on the grass and really in an open fresh air and not just stuck into houses. But we have to do what we can do. But this is a good thing for showing and spread, because social media right now are getting full of people that are just spreading music, video gigs. So I think that in this period, maybe interviews or release online are getting faster and faster. And because
Absolutely.
people don't have things to do, then stay on the social media. But sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not. But now I want to know the musical influences of a Grief Collector, of course.
Well, I mean, I can only speak really for myself, not really for the other guys. I mean, Robert is one of my influences, I guess. So that's kind of one of those things. I'm kind of all over the board when it comes to, music. I grew up, listening to hair metal, Motley Crue and Kiss and all that stuff, which is very near and dear to my heart. I love 80s, hard rock and heavy metal. I mean, it's just something that it's fun and, so I really like that a lot. But I really like the old thrash metal bands, Testament and Exodus and Creator, Violence, stuff like that.
They are back on tracks, Violence. Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's one of those bands that, I thought really kind of fell under the radar, that didn't get as much of attention that they really should have. But I love them from the day that I heard them. So, I like, I love old Doom. I like new Doom. I like,
and
some.
And what about there is some new and old Doom band you like more than others?
I always have, I mean, Candlemass will always be, one of those bands that are near and dear to my heart. I mean, I love that type of stuff, but I do like the new kind of stuff that's coming out. There's a band called Funeral Fuck out of Germany that is absolutely amazing, and then a band called Bone Church that I really, really like. So those bands are newer bands that I think are kind of taking the torch and kind of bringing that style back again. So
because right now seems that the metal field, we can say that, is having a new wave. I don't like the new wave of British, because the new wave of metal, because I'm seeing new wave of thrash, new wave of heavy metal, new wave of doom, new wave of black metal. People are coming out with there are so many bands right now that you just see pop out these old bands. Which is this band? Which are these bands? And maybe you want to interview that band, but you get confused and say, okay, we have to make a selection, because if we interview everyone, we don't have time maybe for some bigger name. So we are just to select someone. Also because we have an Italian scene as well. So for me as an Italian, I have sometimes to interview my band. So it's
Oh, absolutely. I think
that
that's great.
yes. Yes, and sometimes the funniest things is that they wanted to do interview in Italian because, of course, anyone they maybe feel more comfortable speaking in Italian. And people
Right.
ask me when I speak in English, they ask me the Italian subtitle. When I speak Italian, they ask me English subtitle. So I say, okay, come on, Google do it, YouTube do it in automatically. So just do it with Google because I don't have any times for doing this all by my own. Because right now
Right.
it's me, we have all female staff. So right now, but it's me that take care of the interview. All these things you will be see online. It's me.
Nice.
And this is maybe the last questions before the future plans. This is, we can say, not funny, but like a game. You are an organizer of a festival or a tour, a gig. It's up to you, and you can choose the country and the lineup of this festival. Which will it be? Yeah.
I've always wanted to, go over to like, Romania and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I always thought that is always fascinating.
Yeah.
For me, I guess the lineup would be hard, but I mean, for me, Catatonia would be one band that would have to be on the list. I think Bloodbath would be
Bloodbath.
another one that would have to be on there. Fates Warning, just because I'm a huge Fates Warning fan.
Oh man, yeah, I
Um,
remember them.
and I would hope that Grief Collector could be on that bill too.
Of course, I mean you're organizer of yourself, and of course you will be. I always once I planned gigs and festival as well, and also I played bass in my life, and I thought since I organize festival and gigs, why not? I just don't put my bands in the festival. But then I saw that at least in Sicily, it's not easy to find and form a band like a one and like Vixen, band like
Oh, sure.
Vixen is not easy because people here are more extreme metal. So I said, okay, just my bass is resting in peace right now, and I just go in the backstage. So right
Right.
now, yeah, I wanted just to ask you to the future plans. What are doing right now, Griff Collector? What are they are planning to do?
Well, right now, obviously, we're waiting for the album to come out
Hmm.
within the next, few months.
Yeah.
And then once that hits, I don't really know what it's going to do for the band as far as, where things will be even with COVID at, towards the
Yeah.
end of the year. And like I said earlier, we're hoping to do an official, music video. At least that's
Yes.
something that, we as a band would like to do. And we have dabbled around a little bit with, working on the next album ideas.
Yes.
So I mean, you always want to, be proactive about that, and
Yeah, that's important. Yeah.
and as being musicians, you always have ideas in your mind, and so we've been throwing some ideas back and forth for the the follow up to End Delirium.
Yes, of course. And just a message if you want to leave to people to are seeing this interview and people who knows Griff Collector and of course people that maybe wants to buy the album. Just a message to catch them, we can say.
Yeah, I mean, so if you want to, the album is available right now for pre-orders,
Yeah.
and you can do that I believe, on the Petrichor Records on site, as well as Napalm Records. And then there are a few links, I think, on our Facebook page for some other European links that you can buy the
Yeah.
album and the CD. So it's all out on social media right now. So if you check us out on Facebook,
Yeah, I
all
will post the link on Facebook of Big Griff Collector Facebook and on the interview. Okay, so just a message to anyone who's watching, and we did a day finally the interview.
Yeah, we just want to thank everybody for the support. I mean, it's been a hard time for
Yeah.
all musicians during this COVID thing. We just appreciate people still, following us, and the great response that we have had for the first single, Winter Sick. We've got some really good response to that. So we just want to thank everybody for sticking with us and, sticking with, music and, making that still something that's important to them during this crazy time.
So thank you so much, Brad, for this interview that finally we see all our faces and we speak quietly without, what did you say? What did you say? Because the last one was a little bit confusing for anyone. So this will be more clear for who will watch it. So thank you so much, and have a good rest of the day. And what can I say? See you soon, and maybe we will do a review for the album on an interview just for updating what is going on with Collector career. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And stay safe, and thank you so much. Bye, Brad. Bye.